What up, Fresh?
What's up, Marsh?
Here to talk some shop with my boy Diere Franklin. You doing good?
Good, bro.
I see you got your son's here with you.
Yeah, man.
You want to coach some flag football later
today? Get ready to go ball, man.
Tell me a little bit about that. What's that like, everything you've done on the field and now you get to give back to your son and the youth in the game of flag football?
That's the beautiful part of it. That's why I do it, man. And he's been coming to the field with me since he's been old enough to remember. So the fact that he get to watch me do what I do and perform at the highest level of flag football and be able to watch me on TV with the FFL and stuff like that, and now for him to have his time, for me to be able to teach him, that's the most beautiful part of the game. He's why I do really everything.
What's a day in the life of Fresh when he's not at the football field?
I work a lot of hours, man. If I'm not playing ball, I'm working. Dealing with my family, my wife, my son. We got 2 sons. I have a daughter in Atlanta, so it's just like a family man being a dad, man. So when I'm not on the field, I'm working, being a family man. That's just me.
What's it like being a dad?
It's the best in the world, man. It's like people think it's playing football and making it to, even making it to the league and making millions of dollars and all this stuff is the best thing, but it's not, man. It's being a parent. It's being a dad. Like, having kids was the best thing that ever happened to me because I get to be a dad and be able to teach them something that I never had because I never had my dad around. So having kids means it's more special to me in so many ways because I get to do something for them that I never had, and that's the most special part of my life.
Yeah. So when you're like at a game and you see one of your sons or one of your son's friends and they make a good play or they do some that you taught them, what's that like when you get to see them just do things that you've taught them or shown them or them trying to emulate you?
That's the best part, because everything they do on the field, especially my son, he's trying to do what he sees me do. He's been watching me, like I said, since he was very little, so everything he does is a little bit of me in him. Even his friends, I see them in the back room, hey, my dad's on TV, this, that, and the other, my dad's cool. You hear that kind of stuff, and it brings you joy, man. So to see them make plays and do stuff according to how we do it on the flag football field, nothing beats it, man.
That's awesome. So let's take it back. Who was Diere growing up as a kid? What did he like to do? Where did he grow up? And talk to me a little bit about how you've gotten to where you are today and what you've learned from your childhood and things like that.
Man, I was just a natural born sports kid like every other kid. Boy growing up, you got dreams of making it big and being a superstar. So like I said, it was a little bit difficult for me because not having a dad, you just got to kind of learn and do your own thing and you just kind of grow up with the streets kind of, you know what I mean? So my life growing up, man, was just more about trying to be a superior athlete. I grew up in Mesquite, Texas. It was small back then, it was probably about 10% African American when I got over there, man. And so they thought I was all world over there. So it was just like, it's just like this little black kid running around, making all the plays and doing everything. So I was the star. You know what I mean? So that gave me the feeling of want to do more with that. That kind of feeling as a kid, everybody thinks that you're the man. You want to just keep growing that with every level of your life. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, me coming up was that's all I wanted to do, man. Just be a real superstar on the football field, basketball court, and whatever.
Yeah, and like we were talking earlier before the show, you played high school basketball.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about that and some of your favorite memories from when you played.
Actually, like I said, I played basketball at Mesquite High. I was a point guard of my team, and we went to the playoffs for the first time in 55 years, my senior year, and so that was special. So we got to ride on a parade boat with the previous guys that went 55 years earlier.
That's pretty
So
cool.
there were a lot of old guys, and they were telling us, how things were back then and how things had changed now, and that was cool. So my best memory of high school was my senior year. We beat Carter in the playoffs. Then we went to Tyler and beat them. Then we ended up losing in Waco to a team called the Woodlands. And that kind of ended my run, man. But my best part of my basketball career is my senior year in high school.
That's awesome. So we talked earlier, you didn't play high school football.
Nah.
So you're a high school basketball player. What was that transition? How were you led to flag football? What was that walk like for you where it was like, I'm a basketball player, I never played football before, and I know you didn't play quarterback at first when you first started playing flag football. You were playing DB, you were playing receiver.
Yep.
How did you make that transition, and how did the games kind of overlap and help you get to where you were when you first started?
Man, that's crazy because football's always been my favorite sport, even though I play basketball. You get it in your mind to think that you're too little to play football when really you're too small to play basketball.
Yeah.
You know, you're in 6'5", 6'6", and you probably need to go another direction. You know what I mean? But I played football early in my life coming up. I stopped when I got to my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
But the transition was easy for me because it always was my favorite sport.
Yeah.
So so coming into flag, I was looking up. It was air it out, let it fly.
Okay.
Back then we played 1,000 fields at South Fork Ranch, and it was 4-on-4, and it was just like all the great athletes in the world. Black Jackson is when I first met him. I was like an 18-year-old kid coming out there having to guard Black Jackson. I thought he was like baby Jesus when I first seen him, bro. I was just like, this dude is doing all routes I'd never seen.
Yeah.
And I was introduced to flag first during 4-on-4. So then after 4-on-4 kind of faded out, they started this 9-man deal. And I was just like, what is this? And it was like an actual football game, like contact. And I was like, I get to play football again.
Yeah.
So I played receiver and DB and stuff like that. And the quarterback was hurt. And I was like, you know what? I can throw a ball. You know, y'all want me to try? So they put me back there, and I ended up getting MVP of the league that season. Then the quarterback came back, and then they wanted me to go back to receiver. And I was like, nah. I think I found something, bro.
I already did that.
I started a team called Showtime and 9-man, bro, and it just took off from there, man.
So do you remember the first time you played flag football?
Yes, man. I was 18. I was 18 years old in intramurals in college, man. We just it was 4-on-4 actually.
Okay.
We were just out there just having a good time playing. Wasn't even supposed to be playing because my college coach was like, I'm there on a scholarship, so
Yeah,
I can't be playing. You know, I can't be playing that. So, but yeah, that was my first time, man, getting out there throwing around. I was like, man, this is fun. So every little chance I got, I was trying to sneak around and play flag football.
Did you ever like have in your wildest dreams, you know, the first time you ever playing flag football? It's intramurals at your school, and then I don't know, 15, 20 years later, you were going to be on NFL Network playing AFFL for $1 million?
Nah, bro. Not in ever would I think that, man. This is, you take it from an intramural sport, you think it's just recreation.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're just out there trying to compete. You don't want to lose. And next thing you know, the sport just grew and grew every single year. And then, of course, everybody know the AFFL came about, and it's just like now it's on a platform to where everybody sees it how we already saw it, though. Mm-hmm. So people, the spectators of AFFL, they're looking at this sport, but we already viewed it as we were superstars.
Yeah.
It was our own sanctuary for superstardom, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So that was just us. So for everybody else to get to see it, man, was great.
Tell me about the lowest point in your flag career, whether that's a game that you felt like you lost and was because of you, or maybe, you know, you and a teammate's friendship dwindled and went the wrong way. What was it for you, and something that you learned a lot from that moment and have taken that and made you a better person, man, and flag football player because of that?
Man, you know what? That's a good question. It's going to have to be AFFL because before AFFL, it didn't mean as much for other people. Like, I'm playing to be great and I'm playing to win games, but when AFFL came, it was a platform for $1 million, like you said.
That's life-changing money.
Yeah, so it's like playing with a group of guys that I play with, and I know that their chances of winning this money hangs in the balance of how I play. And if winning this money can help them in their life in so many different ways, it's like when you lose and then you lose again, you at your low point. Because not for me personally, because I have a big heart, man, so it's about everybody else. So when I look at, you know, Brendell, and I'm looking at, you know, Fred and all the guys that play with me just with their heads down, and I'm thinking to myself, I could have did something more to help them win, and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But as a quarterback, you know, you play the position as well. We feel like everything is our 100%. Fault, no matter what happens. So I think that was the lowest point of my career so far, just because the platform it was on and how much money it was for and what it meant to my guys.
Yeah, and I mean, just to kind of steer away from that whole process for you guys, I remember I was still new in the flag game when it was coming around back in 2018, and I just see everybody on Facebook that's from Dallas. It turns into a Dallas versus everybody, Texas versus everything in the first season, and I'm sure after games you guys are checking Facebook and your notifications are going crazy. Oh, fresh this, fresh that. What's it like? You guys were essentially professional athletes, and you had your whole city and state behind you. What was that like?
Man, that was the best feeling in the world, because as I mentioned earlier, I just wanted to be a superstar coming up as a kid. didn't quite make it, didn't quite pan out. So to be able to do it as further down the line than what I thought, it was still was a big part of my life for me, because it allowed me to be that superstar that I always wanted to be for just that moment. Everybody could watch me on TV. Guys coming to pick us up, paying for airline tickets and paying for hotels, and that's superstar athlete treatment. That's professional, right? So to go through that and to be able to have that feeling of a professional athlete, that kind of, I'll never forget that as long as I live. Even though we lost the tournament, I'll never forget how I was treated by the people of the FFL, because that put me in the mindset of being a professional athlete.
So how did that team come together? I mean, just from what I've heard and talking with everybody about flag football, that wasn't always the team. You had your Looney Tunes and you had your Blackout,
right,
and you guys would occasionally cross paths. But how did the money team come together with that core group of guys?
Man, the money team came together because we felt like it was the best chance for us to do something special with each other. Let's bury the feud that we have here at home, come together and all go towards one common goal, which is to try to make some good money.
Yeah.
And for actually the people on the team, it just came from respecting each other's game. A lot of people want to give me credit for what they want to give me credit for, but then at other times it's like, well, he just surrounded by the most superior athletes that there is given the flag football. Well, those people chose me to play. And the reason they chose me to play is because I consistently beat them all the time, just like I lost to them as well. But when you line up against a QB that can beat you, a lot of times it's like you can beat him. It's like when you want to play for a lot of money, it's like, I want the guy that was beating me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want the guy, I don't want to go get the guy I was kicking his butt every time. Bring me the guy that had the ability to beat me, and I want him to play on this team and be the quarterback of this team. So that's how the whole thing happened, man. Just playing against all those guys in 9-man, playing against them in 8-man, playing against them in 4s, and consistently beating them gave me the opportunity to be the quarterback for the Texas Money team.
That's awesome. And I kind of want to touch on a couple of your nicknames, how you got the name Jote and how you got the name Fresh. Obviously, you've had success at the national level in 9-man, 4-man. You've won endless tournaments in 5-man in Texas. You have multiple 8-man state championships. Why is versatility and being able, and co-ed as well, you've won on the national and world level in multiple co-ed formats. Why is that so important to you? Why do you want to be the guy that's remembered as, I won in this, I've won in 5-man, I've won in 8-man, I've won in 7-man? Why is that important to you?
We talked about it earlier, is the reason why these flag companies are kind of making different things to come up with as far as the formats that we play. I want to be different. That's just all it is. I want to be that guy that was able to do it all, because I hadn't seen it being done. So I was like, what can I do to the sport that nobody's done before? And everybody loves to be the GOAT of one single thing. And I was like, for me, you know what? It's not about being the greatest of all time at one specific format. So let me think. I said, you know what? I'm gonna be the Jote. I'm gonna be the jack of all trades, because I feel like that maybe I'm not the best at 9-man, but I can beat the best guy in 9-man. Maybe I'm not the best 8-man quarterback, but I can beat the best 8-man team. Maybe I'm not the best 4-man quarterback, but I can win a national championship. And same thing with 5s. So if I'm not the best in one specific thing, nobody can tell me that I'm not the best flag football quarterback, period. So that's why I wanted to go down that road to become the Jote, because in my mind, I feel like when it comes to flag football, no formats mentioned, I'm the best player. And
you have to feel like that when you're a quarterback. Because if you don't believe in yourself, how are the people that are playing with you going to feel with yourself?
Exactly.
So, and to touch on Fresh, how did you get that nickname? I mean, I can kind of put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, one of my favorite memories of you as a player and how I can kind of correlate the Fresh nickname is when you guys were playing the Freaks. What was that? 2 years ago in the AFL game before the amateur championship. They go down and score with like a minute and a half left, and the camera goes on you, and you just have this look on your face like there's no doubt. And you go down there, you lead a drive, you throw the touchdown. Now you guys are down 2. You go down, you go for the 2-point conversion. You throw an out route to RT. Why are you able to stay so calm, cool, and collective in these big moments like that?
Repetition, doing it over and over and over, and failing. When you fail so many times, you're not afraid of failing at all. It's just like, you can look it right in the face. It's like, okay, if I'm gonna fail, I've done it before. I know what it feels like. You don't want to ever feel it again, but you deal with it as a man. You wake up the next day and you eat it, and you go play the next game and try not to feel the way you did the last time. So I knew that if I lost that game, that I can deal with it as a man. I'm gonna go on and live the rest of my life and do what I do, come back and try to win the next time. So for me, that drive was just like, I knew I can get it done, just like I feel like I can get it done any other time I get the ball last.
You know, you guys go on to win that game, and then you go on to win the amateur championship, and you go and you play Fighting Cancer for the second time. Talk to me a little bit about both those games. You can go back and forth from year 1 and year 2, and what do you think you learned about yourself and yourself as a flag football player and your teammates, and obviously those are your friends and some of your best friends. What did you learn about those guys?
To answer your other question real quick, before I answer that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Fresh came about.
Yeah, let's get on that.
Fresh came about when I was a young boy, man. Just not being able to, not wanting to be dirty, not wanting to be filthy. I always had to have new clothes on. I always wanted new shoes. And you know, at school, I would always go to school dressed the best that I can be
Jordans,
dressed.
Nikes,
everything. So it's just like Jordans. You gotta have the J's on.
Fresh J's.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta have the square toes when you got your suit on. You know what I mean? It's just. And then everybody started just calling me Fresh, and it just stuck, man. From like 7 years old, bro. So, and then now I can't get people to stop calling. My mother calls me Fresh to this day, man. Before she calls me Diere, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how Fresh came about, man. But to answer your other question, man, I learned a lot about fighting cancer. And when you lose to somebody and you lose to them twice in a row, you start asking yourself, questioning yourself, like, you know, what is it gonna take to beat these guys, man? Like, what do I have to do better as a player, as a quarterback, to get this done? Because it's just a good team. You know, they're led by a good quarterback in Hoosh, they got a good defense, they got good receivers. So what can I do personally to get the job done, man? So losing to them twice and going down that whole AFFL road and you know, coming out on the end of not being able to win was just one of the things that I'm going to take in my flag career and try to get back to that point to redeem myself, man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, like you said, you guys losing two tough games. What does it mean to you as a quarterback when season 3's coming around and Frankie's the first guy calling you saying, hey, let's run this back. We want you to be our guy. Not like it was another option or anything like that, but the fact that even though you guys didn't get the ultimate job done, that they're calling your phone saying, hey, we're rolling with you. We want you to be the guy calling the signals for season 3.
Right. And that's, like you said, man, that's what I love about my guys, the confidence that they have in me. If you ask any one of those guys why I'm the quarterback of the Texas Money team, is because of the confidence that I have in them. So they show me the same respect back. So when they come in the huddle, to everybody else, and don't get it twisted, man, it can be a lot with the diva mentality. But for me,
Fred McDonald in there.
Right, if you can't be in that huddle and be a alpha male, it won't be for you.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? They expect you to perform every time, and if you don't, you fail. You know what I mean? So as a player, I know that I can do what they're asking me to do. So when they come to the huddle and say, Fresh, I can beat this guy on this, there's no doubt in my mind that I'm just going to throw them that ball they say they can win on. And I give my receivers the chance to do that. There's a lot of QBs that want the shine of, I called that play, I mastermind this, I did that. I don't want none of that. Come to the huddle and tell me how you can win, I'm going to throw it to you. And that's always my philosophy. That's why one of the people knock on me, they think I can't, they don't think I have a mind. They just think I play the game. But they do that just because I listen to my guys.
Yeah, and that's something I wanted to touch on. Why do you think, I mean, there's not a whole lot, but I mean, everybody hears when people talk about him. Why do you think Fresh gets hate, whether that's in Texas, the national level? I mean, you didn't get selected to the Team USA team. Why do you think you don't get the credit you deserve, or you do deserve, or the hate just comes your way?
Why does Brady get that success, man? It's success brings hate, and that's just what it is. And it's people want to do what you've done. They want to be where you've been, and if they can't do it, the best way to do it is to hate on everything that you have done, to make it seem like it's lower than what it actually really is, you know. But my thing is I would just work hard and be a better player. Hating on me is not going to get you to the next level.
Yeah.
I've always said that, man. Hating on another quarterback does nothing for my career. You know what I mean? So you're a young quarterback coming up in this thing. Erica's a young quarterback coming up in this thing. What you guys do and accomplish have nothing to do with Fresh's career. So you guys succeeding or failing makes me never mind. The only time I want you guys to lose is when I'm playing you. Any other time, succeed to the highest level, man. Go take it all. Only time I ever want you to lose is when you're playing me. And and other people don't have that. They just want you to lose whenever you play just because they're not able to do the things that you've done. So that's why I feel like I get the most hate, man.
So how does it make you feel when people say you have to have like the best guys around you? You have to have your guys, which is weird because everyone has a team and they have their guys, but
Right.
When they say, "Oh, Fresh can't compete in a draft tournament,"
Right.
which is worthless at the end of the day. But like, what do things being said like that? Like, does that just double down? Like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm playing with the right guys. I'm playing with the guys that believe in me. Like, what goes through your head when you hear things like that?
I'm a competitor, man, so I just want to do it again. You tell me I can't compete in the draft tournament, let's do another draft tournament. You know what I'm saying? Like, I haven't fared well in draft tournaments, but it's a snake draft, and you get.
It matters so much goes into it.
I mean, it's just a lot, man. If you give either of us sitting in this room, Fred or Bruce or something, I mean, if we lose, we need to be whooped because there's nobody to their level that plays in this tournament. So, guys saying stuff like that is just another way for them to hate on with the things that I've done outside of a draft tournament. Me losing a draft tournament has nothing to do with that tournament. Them hating on me in a draft tournament is completely them hating on me, period.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with that draft tournament. They just want to downplay the things I've done based off something that I didn't do is something as small as a draft tournament in our own backyard.
Yeah, but then you can go to Florida and you can win a 4-on-4 national championship.
Right.
So for me, the question that I want to know is, a lot of people say, "Hey, Fresh, what's your biggest win? Why is that your biggest win?" I want to know, what's the win that means most to you, whether that's your 4-man national championship that you just won last month in Panama City Beach, or your previous Roswell 4-man, or all of your 8-man or your 9-man national championship. What's the one that you hold closest to your heart and is the most sentimental to you?
Man, that's a good question. And it's actually two answers to that, because the most sentimental one that I've ever done is the 4-man national championship in Florida that we just won.
Yeah.
But I feel like my best accomplishment was the Roswell tournament in 4-on-4, because the competition that was there, Marshall, was through the roof. And with everything that's going on with the FFWCT and the other guys, and with it being split down the middle, and some of the best players in the world were on the other side of Florida. You know what I mean? So although I don't take nothing away from what we've done, the reason why the Roswell tournament is my biggest accomplishment to date for me is because everybody was there, and you couldn't. Yeah. You couldn't skip nobody.
Super Bowl flag football.
Exactly. It's like you said, Super Bowl of flag, man. You can't miss the competition. Everybody's here in this one spot. We're not here and we're not here. We're all right here. So the person that comes out of this tournament today gets to brag for a whole year and say they won Roswell, which a lot of people went down there and a lot of people came back empty-handed. But for me to be able to go down there and do it once, my first time ever QB in that tournament, it's the most precious thing to me right now.
So what were those next couple of days like for you? You come back home, you're a Roswell champ. How much was the prize money for?
$10,000 back then, yeah.
What was the first thing you spent that money on?
I got a car.
Got a car.
Yeah, got a car. And the thing was, I was already gonna get the car, but when I got back, I just threw my portion as the down payment to make my payments a little cheaper, but I was already gonna get it, so it was just like, so when I got it, everybody was like, "Oh, you big shot winning, man, you gonna get your ride and all this stuff." But yeah, man, it was cool to be able to take some money inside of a dealership that you get from flag football and just be like, "Here, man, give me this car right here." So,
how do you want to leave the game? Is there a certain way you want to leave it, and how do you most want to be remembered in the flag football community?
Man, everybody's dream is to go out on top. I just had dreams of myself winning one last huge tournament and just telling everybody, I'm done. You know what I mean? Just like not nobody even knowing, just be like, you know what, y'all, that's it for me, man. So just a big national tournament for a lot of money or something like that, and then just ride out and be like, I'm never gonna play again. Just spend the rest of my time with my son and showing him how to play the game and stuff like that. But the impression I want to leave on the game, man, is just to show mainly other QBs is don't limit yourself, man. You know, learn all the formats. Flag is a big game, man. You can compete in so many different levels of flag football, so it's crazy. So if you have the ability and the time to be able to play multiple formats, learn them. Learn them all, play them, man, because you never know which one's going to take off. 7-on-7 AFFL came. I never played sevens before in my life.
Yeah.
Jumped on sevens, and now we all love it. 5-on-5, it could be a possible Olympic sport.
Yeah.
So if you're playing 8 contact or 9 man and you've never played fives, you give yourself, you miss the opportunity because you don't want to broaden your horizons and play more, more formats. So I just want people to look at me and be like, that guy played everything, and he was a success in pretty much everything he touched. So why can't I do that? So I think it'll be more freshes. I think it'll be more jokes, man.